Hello.
Hello, GM.
GM.
GM. Welcome everyone. My name's Richard. I'll be hosting today's Spaces together with Brigitte and Fricoben. How do you pronounce your name, by the way?
It's Fricoben, because my name is Benjamin, actually.
There we go. Well, thanks for joining us, Fricoben. It's a pleasure to have you. You are actually our first Spaces of 2023. So yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. I guess
Happy to be here.
absolutely. Before we kick off, let's I guess do a quick round of introductions and so everybody can know who's speaking. So, Frigoben, your mic's on, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So my name is Benjamin. I'm a developer and the founder of Starknet ID on Starknet. So our goal with Starknet ID is to be in the center of identity in Starknet by creating the passport of Starknet. So yeah, that's our goal. And when it comes to my career in general, I started as a developer and then founded several small businesses in Web2, and Starknet ID is my first business in Web3.
Fabulous, nice, serial entrepreneur, as we like to say. And Brigitte, Sir Brigitte, can you hear us?
Yeah, sure. Hi. So, thanks, Fricoben, for joining us. So, my name is Pujit, and I look after partnerships and business development at Tempus and Nostra. And before this, I was a student at the London School of Economics, and I just graduated from there. Nice to be here.
Fabulous.
Okay, real cool.
All right, so I guess, Fricoben, if you could just give us a bit of a background as to what Starknet ID is for those who don't know.
Yes, no problem. So we like to define ourselves as the identity service of Starknet. So when I started building on Starknet a few months ago, in mid July of 2022, we wanted to build games. At the beginning, we wanted to build games, and we'd created small games that are still here. It's Acre, Age of Acre, and Imperium Wars. And when we were building these games, we wanted something to act as a passport that we can use, and on this passport we would be able to write Discord, Twitter, and Web2. At the beginning, we wanted simply to link Web2 and Web3 in order to access Web2 data on the Starknet blockchain. That was really the idea at the beginning, and then we understood that there was a lot of more needs around identity on Starknet, naming service, of course, with .stark domains that are our main feature right now, but also other things like SBTs, on-chain reputation, and a lot of things that we would love to work on. So we want to work on all these identity features on Starknet and to help to grow this identity space on Starknet. So currently, what is a Starknet identity? Currently, a Starknet identity is an NFT where you can write data on it, and those data could be a Discord name, a Twitter name, or a .stock domain, or even other things around the identity on Starknet, but also with some communication with other chains. And I will not spoil, but we'll have good announcement in the future about that.
Oh, I thought he was going to leak the alpha, sir. That's what we're here for. Nice. So I guess we're then talking about a universal identity on chain that can be linked to people's wallets. Am I correct?
Yes. So the basic thesis of that was with account abstraction, you don't want to link your identity with your wallet, because you can change wallet with account abstraction, you can sell a wallet, etc., etc. But what you want to do, and what we chose to do, is to have a passport on your wallet which will be your Starknet identity. And on this passport, you can write all the data that you want to show to the world, all your identity, all that you think is your identity.
Right, right, right. Of course. No, I think this is a real key sort of feature that, for the crypto space to grow, this will play a key part in sort of kind of moving as into an opt-in space of anonymity. So, as everybody has a wallet address and it's a public key, people can be pseudonymous. But if there's an option and if there's a benefit to providing your identity and putting, your identity on chain, and what that sort of unlocks is an interesting design space, which I don't think we've not even fully scratched the surface yet on that. I think you launched the later part of last year. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. So the first feature and the feature that everyone knows about Starknet ID is that we have a naming service. And we launched this big feature on the early December of 2022, had a good success, and then we are still working on this feature with other partners. You, of course, guys, but we are working on other features around identity too. But yes, we started mainnet in early December.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, we actually today released an update of our alpha money market, and we've integrated Starknet ID. So if anybody has their Starknet ID binded to their wallet, you can go into, it will be displayed on your dashboard, on the money market, Nostra money market. So feel free to check that out if you haven't. Just released hot off the press today. Um, with regards to your launch, how did that go? Did you notice any sort of interesting patterns? 'Cause I know, on Ethereum you got ENS, and there's a big sort of wave of three digits going for the three-digit club, the four-digit club, and a lot of the premium names going for sizable amounts. How did you guys sort of, or what interesting insights did you guys see when you launched? And was they all priced the same, or did you have a tiered price based on the characters? How did that work?
Yeah, so in terms of price, basically we have a different price for each characters, because the less characters you have, the more it's rare, the more scarcity you have. So the less you have characters, the more it will be expensive. So it's the same thing as in ENS or in any naming service in general, even in Web2. So basically, for the prices, we took the prices that we saw on ENS, Solana, Terra, etc., and we applied a 30% discount on it. So this is basically our pricing right now. And what was the other question? Sorry.
No, I was just wondering if you noticed any sort of interesting behaviors or people that was there a gold rush or a quick, a gold rush for the most rarest, maybe if you sold more three characters than four characters, did you notice anything in terms of your sales, your initial
Yeah.
sales?
Yeah. So the cool thing right now is that we launched today a dashboard of stats where you can see that kind of thing. So I'm in front of it right now, and I can tell you that all the one letters were registered on the first day, and 626 two letters, 1084 three letters, etc., etc. You can check all that on the on the front end of on stats.starknet.id. And in general, we see that the domains that bring the more people, and the domains that people buy the the most are the domains that are five letters and more. Because mainly when we look at the data on chain, we see that people mainly buy one domain or two domains, and it's for naming only. I don't think in general it's not really for speculation at the moment, even if it was at the beginning. But right now, for the current sales that we have, it's mainly for naming. But I'm sure that with time and with the growth of Starknet, I'm pretty sure that these domains will have a good value also on the future, in the future.
Sure, sure. As more sort of users come on board on the Starknet train, then there'll be naturally more demand. So I mean, just diving in a bit more into Starknet IDs and you know what the promise is with regards to Starknet IDs. What would you say is the exciting things that Starknet IDs can bring to the ecosystem from your perspective?
Yeah, so from my perspective, the goal for Starknet ID is for you to have, you mint your identity, you link whatever you want to link in, or whatever you need to link to with it. So it can be a name, it can be Twitter, Discord, etc. Uh, and after that, when you will use any application, this application we will be able to check what it wants to check. So, for example, this application want to verify something about your Twitter. It will only need to verify that your Twitter is verified on your Starknet ID, and then check with your Twitter that, for example, you did the right thing, you tweeted the right thing about them, uh, or you are in their Discord, or for example you have a .stock name and you send that number in terms of it, I don't know. The goal is for every user and every protocol, at least in Starknet, to have one identity where they can refer to for user data in general and basic data. Um, and the goal also will be to share this profile, this Starknet profile, to show all your past actions in terms of on-chain events. So it means that we want to work on SBT's feature. An SBT is a Salbon token, and it mainly is used as something to create a credential, to create something to show to the world that you did something. So, for example, if you have a diploma in engineering, you will be able to create an SBT and attach it to your Starknet ID profile and show it to the world. This is the kind of thing that we're working on right now. But the goal at the end is that you create one identity, you register your name on it, and then you register pretty much all of what you want to share with the Starknet ecosystem on it.
Nice, nice. Yeah, exciting times. I mean, just thinking about DeFi, Brigitte, I mean, what would you say that sort of these on-chain identities bring and unlock for DeFi?
Yeah. So, for example, let's say that you, Nostra, wants to give the possibility to increase the amount that someone can borrow, and to increase the amount that someone can borrow if this person have, I don't know, has a good behavior in terms of financial transaction, DeFi transactions. What do I mean by good behavior? I mean that he has a good health factor. So what you can do as a user is that what a builder can do is that you can create an SBT based on these factors. Link your this SBT to your Starknet ID, and this SBT will say, for example, so we'll say Ben.Stark have a good behavior when it comes to DeFi. So Nostra will be able to look at this data and say, okay, this SBT attests that this user Ben.Stark have a good behavior, so we'll give him the right to have less collateral or to borrow more. And this could be an example of what we could do with DeFi with DeFi and identities.
Agreed. And I think adding to that, we could also like start building like on-chain credit scores, because once everyone starts having one Starknet ID and there's more activity on chain and it spreads across the entire ecosystem, we can create on-chain credit scores, and that could be used for under collateralization on Nostra, just like you mentioned. So yeah.
Yes, this is exactly that. This is an on-chain credit score, And the only thing that what I presented just 2 minutes ago, it was you create an SBT, sorry, to say, okay, this guy have this amount of score, and then every protocols will be able to look at the SBT and say, okay, this guy has this score, etc., etc. But this is exactly the type of things that you can do, and you write this credit score on your Starknet identity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the SBTs, or the soul bound tokens, which has sort of been written about by and introduced by Vitalik last year, is look, I think that it tries to mitigate the ability for people to just create an identity and then just throw it away. So, you can create a good credit score, a good track record and history, build up this really good credit score, take out a whole bunch of credit, or borrow above your means, or what have you, and then don't return. And I think, in sort of the real world, you don't really want to do that, because you'll have some recourse, right? Your ID is your passport. You cannot just change your identification that easily. And therefore, if you do anything bad, or if you're a bad actor, you'll have the judges to face, and the law of the off-chain law, should I say. And I think soulbound tokens tries to almost bring that same mapping of your personal identity on chain, as opposed to, like, rather than just have an ID that's binded to a wallet, which you could just swap out or leave or ditch. So that's the kind of difference there that I see. Um, just speaking on these sort of subjects of on-chain identity, I mean, interested to get your thoughts, Brigitte, maybe if you want to also chime in on this to begin with, like, on-chain identity and community building, like how does it help or does it help in any way?
Yeah, I'm sure it really does. Just like in the case of ENS, you create one identity and then you can show yourself as that identity on different social media platforms, for example, and then people get to know, they build trust, and then they can easily interact with such wallet addresses and even on different platforms.
Yeah, even with SBTs, there is room to grow with that. Because, for example, let's say that someone is really active in the Nostra community, you can give him an SBT as the OG of the sorry, the OG as of the Nostra community, and he'll be able to show that SBT on his profile, and this will be part of his identity. And people like that in general, and I like that personally. So this is also the kind of thing you can do, but even for Starknet ID, this was like the core, the core need that we wanted to answer is community building. Because when you link a Discord, Twitter, etc. to an identity, the goal was, for example, if another protocol want to use it, then he can. It can use it and make something about it, and at least the user only have to verify one time for the whole Starknet ecosystem, and everybody's gonna use this identity and the data on it to build whatever he wants.
Yeah, no, interesting. I mean, I'll be just what came to mind is, users don't necessarily just stay on one chain. You'd have the same user that will use, Ethereum, then, Avalanche, what have you. And then they might jump onto, Starknet. How do you think about sort of that interoperable identity? Is there a world where you can bind a Starknet ID to an ENS? Um,
This is on the pipeline. Like, we're working to do that, to bridge ENS. We're working with some ENS people. We're working to do that, and also to do other things. For example, we talked about SBTs. We want to bridge POAPs, for example, proof of attendance, I think, on the news chain. And we want to, in general, be able to use the most popular tools around identity in the blockchain space also on Starknet, and to bridge it to identities. Because of course we live in a multi-chain world where we'll have to have that kind of interoperability. But I think, from my point of view, we also need special things for Starknet, because Starknet is really different in terms of architecture, in terms of tools, in terms of languages, etc., etc. So for SBTs, for example, it's a bit different on Starknet, because with account abstraction, you can sell your account. So you can sell your SBTs. So it's a bit different. You have to remake something. You can not just copy paste or only bridge, for example, POAP and make SBTs, because this will not work on Starknet. So this is why we are here. We want to be in the center of the identity on Starknet, create tools that are specialized with the Starknet ecosystem, with the Starknet tech, etc., that leverage this tech, and then also make the bridging with the other ecosystem, with Ethereum mainly, of course, with ENS mainly, of course, but also with other things like POAPs, like other things in the future. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point about you can actually sell your account, probably quite easily and in a different method to how people sell accounts today, which is kind of a bit dodgy. Um, cool. All right, nice, exciting stuff. I guess, well, we're coming up to sort of time. I mean, I'm super interested to hear what sort of is in the pipeline for you guys this year, and perhaps you can tell us what Starknet ID looks like in 1 year's time.
Yeah. So in 1 year time, we would like Starknet ID to be um, the biggest identity protocol on Starknet, even if it's already the case right now. But what we want to build is to build a real on-chain profile where you have all your SBTs, you have your name, you have also your .it name, so we'll bridge ENS, and you will have also your POAPs if you want real bridge POAPs, etc., all in one place on Starknet, and we want to be used by all the protocols on Starknet, etc., etc. So continue like that with adding more and more feature around identity, and especially around SBTs and bridging other identity tools to Starknet.
Nice. Yeah, I'm interested to see how SBTs sort of start coming into play and playing a bigger role in DeFi and in on-chain identity in general. Um, and Pajit, I'll put the same question to you, sir. What do you think? What does Nostra look like in
Sure.
1 year in 2024? Can't believe it's 2023 already.
Yeah, yeah. So we launched on like Starknet last year, and since then we've had more than 5,000 users who've used our platform. Response has been good so far. So right now our main focus is waiting for regenesis, and once that happens, we just get our contracts re-audited and open source our codes. This will be followed by actively onboarding devs, giving grants from our $5 million ecosystem fund, and also organize lots of hackathons, meetups, etc. throughout the year in different cities, of course.
Very cool.
Very good. Well, lots in store, and for those of you who are listening and who haven't joined the community, please join La Familia. We are waiting for you as always. And Fricoben, do you want to sort of plug in any sort of call to action for the listeners?
Yeah, I would love to ask the listeners to go on the Nostra Alpha application and to test the new feature that we launched together today, which is you can now see your .stock domain on the connect button, and you'll be able to see your .stock domain. So I'll love for people to do that if they have a .stock domain, and if they don't, they can go and register one on up.stocknet.id.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again, sir, for your time. It's our first Spaces of 2023, but there's plenty more to come. I think next week actually we have one scheduled with Jedi Swap, which should be exciting. So um, thanks again for everyone for listening, and we'll catch you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Have a great day.
Ciao.
Bye bye.